What's up, everybody? Hi, my name's Justine. I lost my way at an early age. At only 12 years old, I packed my backpack in the middle of the night and fled my home forever. I didn't know what kind of monsters were waiting for me out there. I didn't know how many nightmares would soon become my reality, yet anything was better than where I was. And unfortunately, stories like mine, they're not uncommon in America. Youth ages 12 to 17 are more at risk to be homeless than adults. 34% of the entire homeless population is under the age of 24. That's a lot of you in this room right now. We're college students. We're sleeping on benches. We're hiding under bridges. We're sleeping in our cars if we have them. We're doing things that we don't want to do just to survive. It's funny how some people have more compassion for a butterfly in the park than for the person that's sleeping on the bench. And it is dehumanizing to beg. Unfortunately, a lot of kids turn to survival sex to get by. Now, I was one of the lucky ones. I didn't have to do that. My body was spared, but I felt like less than a person as I watched my life pass me by. And people, they didn't want to look me in the eye. They would actually cross the street to avoid me. I started to agree with them. I felt like I had nothing to live for. I got wrapped up with some bad people and some worse situations. I got reckless. I was just a kid. But something strange happened. I used to have this regular routine. I would go to a fast food place first thing in the morning when they opened, and this wonderful woman would meet me out back. Now, she didn't speak English, so she would just hand me a bag of warm food, smile, and that was it. She didn't expect anything in return. And then one day, she was gone. My heart shattered into a million pieces, falling out on the floor. Her coworker said the boss found out. He fired her on the spot. She lost her job for feeding some random homeless girl she didn't even know. I was completely devastated. She sacrificed everything to help me, and I couldn't even speak her language. I cried that I was never able to tell her how much she meant to me in Espanol. So I had to start a new routine at a different fast food joint, and something strange happened again. There's a regular customer who used to come and buy himself breakfast, and he started buying 2 breakfasts instead of 1. He would slide one onto the table I was sitting at, and he would just walk away. He never said anything to me. And then one day, he sat down next to me. He asked me, "How did you get here?" I just didn't know how to respond. And then suddenly, an infinite number of sorrows began to pour out of my mouth. I was starving. I was hiding from a criminal ex-boyfriend. Now, the police wanted him, but they'd settle for me if they could catch me. And I could never go home. I didn't have anywhere else to go. So this man listened to me. He advised me to leave town somehow. He gave me a handful of bills, the entire contents of his wallet, and I never saw him again. And it was then that I realized that it was these random acts of compassion that gave me the strength to go on. These people made the world feel like a less cruel place. Every time someone did something nice for me, I gained self-esteem and confidence, and I slowly started to find my way. Now, by the time I was 15, I was ready to ask for help. The police picked me up, and I wasn't sure if I was going to get help or if I was going to go to juvenile hall. But something strange happened again. The officer listened to me. He said he knew where to take me. He gave me a one-way ticket off the streets. And I was never homeless again because that was the last random act of kindness that I needed to cross the threshold. So don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. I still need a lot of help to this day. But I finally had a chance to transform, to metamorphose out of this life that I didn't want into a life where my wings could take me anywhere that I wanted to go. And it was then that I made it my mission to pay it forward, just like all these people that had helped me along the way. So I started public speaking for the storefront homeless shelter that had helped rehabilitate me when I was coming fresh off the streets. When I worked at Doors of Change, we had youth that told us how good it felt to know that random strangers cared about them and wanted to give them a ticket off the streets too. When I worked at the California Coalition of Youth, I interviewed dozens of street kids just like myself, and because of my past, I knew where to find them. And they told me how much it meant to them that someone wanted to hear their story. So their successes became my success, and that's actually why I'm here today. A lot of people may feel really overwhelmed when they think about all the troubles of the world, and a lot of people just don't know where to start. Now, I believe that social change is a series of small gestures that are compounded until they become a greater movement. Change is hard to come by, but a random act of kindness, it may not change the entire world, but it can change the world for that one person that you did that random act of kindness for. You know, these people, they didn't even know me, but they proved that I was worthy of love, that I had value, that I mattered to someone. They wanted me to have an option, to have a future. They wanted me to have the opportunity to dream, and they didn't expect anything in return. Yeah, everyone deserves that. So here's a project for everyone out here that wants to help others that are going through difficult situations, and this can apply to almost anything. Just say hi. I know, it sounds super dumb. You're like, who is this lady? But no, really, ask us how we're doing. Be genuine. Like, really, like, are you okay? How are you doing? Look up from your phones and realize that you are surrounded by amazing, wonderful human beings just like yourself. You would be surprised at how much self-confidence can be gained just from that simple acknowledgement. And you know, you don't have to be rich. A lot of people think about this in monetary terms. Just work with what you've got. Don't feel obligated to give out money because it isn't necessarily the most valuable resource. Now, compassion is the most valuable commodity in society, and yet so little is given out these days. Just love someone for simply being where they are, because you can't put a price on that. Love them because they're a person just like you, and they might not have the option to be anywhere else. This extends to anyone, anywhere that has ever needed a chance to succeed. Any race, any language they speak, any religion, and yet here we're all still humans on this isolated planet in the universe together, and we deserve to be acknowledged. We deserve to know that we're not alone. So this is your task for now, everybody. Go out there. Be nice to someone today. Don't expect anything in return. You would be shocked at how that person could change because of that one random act of kindness. And you never know who they will become because of what you did that may not have meant anything to you. Please, go out there. Make someone's day. Let them know that they matter. Thank you.